Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Sunday, June 9th, 2019. Thanks for tuning in to our quick update evening edition here. We'll start first over at SPACEWEATHER.com, where the solar wind speeds are sitting at 371.7 kilometers per second with a density of 3.4. Take a look at our blank sun once again. This is now 21 days straight, 3 weeks now without a sunspot. 95 days for 2019 without sunspots. Again, that streak will look to continue for a little while. So we'll take a look first at our KP indices. And I wanted to note something real quick. We've got a couple of stories to share with you tonight. And usually we don't do broadcast on Sunday, but I thought a couple of things should be brought up that were related to what we cover here. First of all, on overnight hours, early June 9th, we saw a minor G1 geomagnetic storm. Now, on our previous broadcast, we were looking at the SDO and saw a little bit of a flash in the pan, I guess you could say, from the sun. That was directly Earth-facing at the time. So, here's what happens when we get these little disturbances. That was nothing major, but there was, in my opinion, quite a bit of things that had happened over the next 24 to 72 hours, like I had said, and I wanted to bring those up tonight and point them out, and one big one as well. But looking at the SDO in motion right now, nothing more than that coronal hole region that is going to be Earth-facing soon. That might just buzz the northern part of our magnetic field, but other than that, guys, just not much going on. We look to continue that streak of 21 plus days without sunspots as we continue. And once again, I'll put the Batman signal out for TSM solar observations. It appears that we are missing TSI data. So if you wouldn't mind, sir, go ahead and send to me what you usually send me in my inbox when I can't find the TSI. For some reason, we are not getting in readings on this website. I wanted to go back to real quick to take a look at our sun on all angles. Of course, stereo B is always going to be missing, but look at that. Not a lot going on. We see some possibilities around the negative 180 region, a little grouping there, but other than that, guys, the sun is quiet, and it could be one of those periods of time where we see around 31, 33, possibly up to 35 days without sunspots. But again, the one reason why I wanted to report tonight was based on a couple of things that had happened. One, what we saw in the SDO, the last broadcast, KP indices spiking up to a 5, so we were at a very low geomagnetic storm. And that's when also we started seeing and hearing about some weird stuff. The first one is the tar and natural gas oozing on the sidewalks here near La Brea tar pits, Los Angeles, California. Tar and what appears to be natural gases begin to ooze into the sidewalk on Miracle Mile near La Brea tar pits, Los Angeles, California, Saturday, June 8th, 2019. Let's watch a little bit of this video here.
Still noticeably visible along parts of Wilshire
You can hear the
Boulevard,
hissing,
which continues to create quite a spectacle. Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon Tang.
I'm Susie Suh. The streets of LA's Miracle Mile are more bubbly than usual, literally tonight. That's because tar continues to bubble to the surface.
It's happening along a stretch of Wilshire Boulevard near the world-famous La Brea tar pits. CBS 2's Jake Reiner is there, and so are the crowds. Jake?
Yeah, you know, I've never seen anybody marvel at the sight of tar quite like this, guys. As you can see behind me, crews have been working for the past couple hours to clean this all up. But earlier today, it was a huge mess. It's slow-moving, almost like a lazy river that sometimes bubbles up, releasing methane gas from underground. It's seepage that's been happening for tens of thousands of years.
It's kind of crazy and kind of scary to think I live on top of this.
Today, Natalie Vote stopped to document it. Last night she did as well. So did we. And you can see the difference a day makes.
So this is the worst I've seen.
What brings people to this area is what's across the street. the iconic national natural landmark, the La Brea Tar Pits. But looky-loos from
Nashville, Tennessee. We're from Seattle and you don't see this oozing out of the streets. It's amazing.
And even a member of the LA County Sheriff's Department turned this into what you'd naturally call a tourist attraction. LA City sanitation workers spent the afternoon cleaning up the mess. Earlier, tourists Don and Elaine Van Cleve got what they came for.
Thought about smelling tar this morning. You ended up smelling tar. How do you feel
Mission
now?
accomplished, you know. I can check that off my list as a tourist of LA.
LA City of Tar, as you can see, they've stopped the spread of this oil for right now, and City Public Works tells me that they will keep monitoring this situation. I also checked with them to see if there was any type of health concern. They say that this occurrence is not unusual, and there is no health concern today. Reporting near the La Brea Tar Pits, I'm Jake Reiner, CBS 2 News.
All right.
Okay, so interesting, you know, part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight really is not, like, I'm not trying to correlate the incident with our son or anything like that, but before anybody goes out there and fears it up, why are they letting people just casually walk around this? I mean, it has to be a very low factor of danger here to just have it sand thrown on it and, you know, some tape. But I've asked the opinion of others, and, you know, it could end badly as well, too. So just interesting situation happening over here. Again, another one of those articles where people are saying, I've never seen it like this before. But this is the top story for tonight's broadcast, and that is the powerful eruption at Sinabung Volcano. Ash up to 16.7 kilometers. That is 55,000 feet. Actually, it's over 55,000 feet. According to the Darwin VAC, volcanic ash is rising up to 55,000 feet above sea level at 10:05 UTC, moving west. Webcam imagery indicates ash-rich eruption, volcanic ash height, and movement based on multispectral satellite imagery and EC model guidance. And there are several images, folks. 55,000 feet up into the atmosphere is when you have to start. That's where you have your problems with climate and temperature, blocking out sunlight. I mean, here we are. There's actually a quicker time lapse that I was going to show you here. Check this out. Just to give you an idea here, 55,000 feet. Blocking out sunlight. This went on for several hours. Actually, this was right around the evening before sunset. And there is a longer video here. Some of the stuff is always not for broadcast. Thankfully, we actually get a video that shows. This is a time lapse. Activity began early that day on June 6th. I'm sorry, June 9th, early in the morning. And as we shot through the early morning into noon hours, we start to see, you know, a lot more activity, a lot more smoke, a lot more ash plume, and then all of a sudden we get a decent sized explosion, and that's why they're slowing this down here for you. So as you see, this is a multi-hour event, and coincidentally, around the same time that we were receiving an increase of highly charged particles in our atmosphere. We were in a G1 geomagnetic storm, a very brief one, and then there's the explosion right there, the ash plume, by minute. So that's significant, and we thought it was worthy to report tonight that Sinabung. This is not the first time we've talked about Sinabung, not quite seeing huge eruptions like this. But now we have gotten another 50,000 footer eruption. I think this is the second or third one this year alone, 2019. I think we had a handful of them in 2018 as well. I'll have to go back and do the research. But we've had an uptick in activity. Merapi, Etna, Sinabung, Popocatepetl, Catapetal. Jeez Louise. You'd think as much as we've talked about the Popo, that I would have that one down by now, but I do apologize, folks. So just an increase of volcanic activity along with a unexpected geomagnetic storm. You know, maybe you can correlate, maybe not. Maybe it was just a large coincidence. We don't believe that. But we will keep our eyes on this. Not right now. There's no reports of damages or casualties at this point. Just some amazing images from watchers.news. Outstanding images, actually. And guys, we'll leave the link in the description here. And taking a look at another story real quick before we get into tonight's weather. At least 3 people have been killed after a slow-moving storm dumped extremely heavy rains on parts of southeastern United States over the past couple of days. Now, we reported that in June 5th, Wharton and Palacios, Texas, received around 8 inches of rain in less than 12 hours. Lafayette got about 3.46 inches, breaking the old record of 2.4. Their 24-hour rainfall actually came in at 7.69, which 7 inches of rain is what they get in a whole month of June. So in a 24-hour time period, they got their entire month's worth. Other places like Atlanta, Georgia got 3.9 inches of rain. They usually receive 3.95 in the month of June. And then, of course, the worst affected was western North Carolina, where they got 13.65 inches of rain in Brookford, North Carolina, and 13.57 in Boone. And if you're wondering where Brookfield is, let's take a look. Here is the lovely Brookford, I should say. 13 inches of rain. And this is a current look right now at the map. So they are still experiencing chances for showers. We'll zoom in a little bit here on our windy.com. Nothing really to speak of for this general area. I'll go ahead and point out where Brookford is, right about in this area where my arrow is. So let's go ahead and back out a little bit here. And we can see we have shower activity heading to this area. Nothing real heavy, but very scattered at this point. But here in Columbia, South Carolina, a more broader band of showers are heading in that direction. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. We'll look at our weather map too here in a minute. That'll show us where the flood watches are going to be at right now. So the result of major flooding was prompted rescue operations, evacuations, and declarations of states of emergency. 3 people were killed in Lincoln, North Carolina, late June 8th after a vehicle they were traveling in slid off the highway near Rock Dam Road, hit a tree, and overturned into a creek. A little bit more footage here from Weather Nation. Let's move through this a little bit here. This is heavy winds, power lines, cars being swept away during floods. Of course, the water has receded at this point. Yeah, I can move that. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So obviously, huge mess, North Carolina. So we start the week off Texas, then we move across the southeast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Here's a look at the flooding rains that hit Louisiana. This is Baton Rouge. So basically this is the same system that moved up the East Coast and created more flooding damage in the southeast. Weather.com. Now, 1 person killed, 6 hurt when a construction crane collapses on a Dallas apartment during a severe thunderstorm, guys. Strong storms with high winds slammed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas on Sunday afternoon, causing a construction crane to collapse on an apartment building in downtown Dallas, killing 1 person and injuring 6. It was one of a number of widespread storms over the weekend. Several states flooding killed 3 people in North Carolina, and a motorcyclist in Florida was killed after being struck by lightning on Sunday. But the crane fell into Elon City Lights apartment at Live Oak and Cantagraw Streets in downtown Dallas shortly before 2 p.m. One person was killed, 6 others was injured. Wind gusts were reported at 70 miles an hour in downtown Dallas. That's where this crane had fallen. Here's some pictures. There is some pretty intense video that I saw on Severe European Weather. They had caught a glimpse of the footage as well. This is where their crane had done damage. There's a parking garage. This is part of the parking garage that has collapsed. And then, of course, they're covering what's going on as well in North Carolina. And flash floods still continue in this area, including drought areas from Florida to the Carolinas. But you know what happens when you get too much rain in a dry area like this? It quickly forms into flash flooding as well. 71 miles an hour, though, folks. This is the damage. Look at this. This is the parking garage right here. So where this arrow is, and I'll move it back, I promise. This area right here is all missing, was part of a parking garage here. So as you see, these are the results of the bottom falling out here. The big day, severe weather-wise, we got flooding, we got buildings collapsing. Just part of everyday news headlines somewhere. We're either talking about tornadoes or building structure damage or loss of life or flooding, crop loss, and you know, it's going to continue, unfortunately. There is a pattern change coming up, but that's not going to do nothing for as far as continuing rain patterns, continuing to rain in the same areas that don't need the rain over and over again. We still have flash flood alerts. Let's take a look at some of our maps right now. Flash flood again for that area that we were talking about in Brookford. You guys in that bright green is flood advisory. There's a flash flood watch and a flood warning. Actually, you guys are in the flood warning zone right now because we still have potential of rain coming in. Look at the cloud coverage here, folks. Look at that. And this is over that area that we're going to see more rain move in overnight tonight. So let's hope that everyone's prepared and safe right now. Let's go back out to the watch map here. We've got severe thunderstorms here in Texas. A watch continues from much of the southern Texas tonight. Let's go to other parts. Believe it or not, we still have some cold advisories still. Let's go out to Nevada real quick. Some chilly temperatures. We got frost advisory. We got an alert here for the growing season too. But again, frost advisory, June 9th, 2019, parts of northeast Nevada. And other than that, that's pretty much what we have going on here. Let's check out California, parts of Northern California. They are looking at temperatures, heat advisory. So this might be the beginning of some snow melt talk here for California. No, thank you, but thank you. Same thing with Colorado. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because we are watching a potential warm-up in the west as the pattern change is going to happen. Yeah, guys, I'm watching this satellite. Watch this system here just kind of move and just dive bomb in the south. Some crazy stuff here, guys. I've never seen any storm systems move quite like what I've seen here lately in the last few days. And also pay attention down here near Georgia and South Carolina and Florida. Look how this storm just kind of rips apart. One way it's going east, another direction it's going west. Southwest. Just a lot of odd motions going on in this area here. So we'll continue to watch for the threat of flooding, say that 3 times, throughout the southeast into North Carolina and floating up to the northeast as well, as we will see rainfall to begin in our neck of the woods here in a couple days. Once again, we'll take a look at the maps. The low probability for severe weather on the East Coast and through the Tennessee Valley into the Ohio Valley as well. That will continue to move northeast and just kind of spin off tonight. And then in Texas, that's where we're going to be watching for the severe stuff. You guys can see there's over 1, 2, 3, 4 shades here in Texas as far as what we're looking at for severe weather. This entire area, usually when we get that kind of third shade in there involved, it's pretty accurate. So be prepared tonight. This is the worst time of the day to have these kind of storms running through when we have tornado watches in effect right now. But please be on the alert tonight. Keep a weather radio next to you, or some battery power radios, and some flashlights that are charged up or anything. Just keep it prepared tonight, as we are expecting some rough weather down there in Texas. So let's take a look here. We do, like I said, we do have a pattern change, and it's going to be more in the temperatures. But I'll show you that here in a second. Moisture moving across to the northeast by late Monday into the Ohio Valley, of course, into the northeast Pennsylvania, New York. It gets heavier in western Pennsylvania by Tuesday, June 11th. And just the south, widespread showers across parts of Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the panhandle of Florida as well. And this storm system will move on through. And the heaviest part of this rain, believe it or not, here, GFS is indicating on Tuesday evening that the capital region of New York, of the Albany area, Schenectady, you're looking at possibility of 3 inches of rain, maybe even more locally. So we'll keep our eyes on that, as that will affect us here in our own backyard. But as this storm system moves off, high pressure across the United States, trying to keep things dry, that doesn't stay for too long as another system develops over across the northern plains into the Midwest. This low pressure system will stay north, as there is a dip in the jet stream that's going to ride it out. And this rain will go into Canada, but also will drag moisture from the Gulf, through the Gulf Stream, I should say, into the northeast by Friday of next week on June 14th. Meanwhile, behind this system, some thunderstorms, pretty heavy ones too, in northern Texas will be firing up, as they're expecting some severe weather across northern Texas through Friday. And then next weekend, this time Saturday, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado, and Kansas. Now this is going to be relevant because we're going to have heavy rain in these regions, but we're also going to see an improvement as far as temperature-wise goes. More heavy rain throughout Kansas, another outbreak the following day on the 16th of June. Oklahoma City, a possibility of more heavy rain for you after still dealing with flood water. Same with Missouri, parts of Arkansas. All this rain channels back into the Mississippi, where we're already suffering so much right now. This low pressure system looks like it's going to wreak havoc for a few days in the Midwest, parts of Michigan. This is 2 systems within 8 days that you're going to get that's going to produce heavy rain as it drifts off into Canada, but also will stick around a little bit in the northeast as well. Heavy rain expected across the region next weekend into early week, June 17th. And then this is pretty much where this is based on historical average when we see these patterns. Just a continuous pattern of moisture flowing through Texas from north to south, into the east, into the south, through the Midwest, into the northeast. And these cycles, it looks like everyone gets a turn every other day. So lots of weather to keep our eyes on, lots of volcanic activity to keep our eye on possibly, as well as seismic activity. This is what the rainfall we're looking at through June 25th. Again, still another 5 inches of rain on top of what's already fallen right now. In parts of North Carolina, like Brookford, like we were talking about, an additional 3 inches of rain is possible still for the next couple of weeks. Parts in the Midwest. Indiana, your numbers are the worst, as we revealed last night on crop planting. And you're looking at a possibility of 5 to 6 inches of rain in the next 2 weeks. Same with parts of Illinois, especially the southwestern part of Indiana, the whole southern tip. Parts of Missouri, southeast Kansas doesn't need the flooding. Another possibility of 8 inches of rain in that region. Parts of northern Texas, same thing. The southeast looking at 5 to 6 inches, and there's a heavier amount that's off of the coast. So thankfully, if these current patterns hold, that rain will stay off of the coast of the United States. But anything shifting just a little bit further back to the west, we'll see how much that changes. But we plan to go live Monday, Thursday, and Friday this week, along with our daily solar updates And before we head out tonight, Mari, I was going to ask if you wanted to say hello to anybody or...
Sure.
Yeah? Come on.
They just finished typing.
Taking a look again at our radars, looking at all the activity that's... Really, the action tonight's going to be Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, southwest Ohio throughout the night as moisture from the Gulf continues, and it intensifies as well, guys, across Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Indiana, near Indianapolis. So it's going to be a rough night as far as weather. Pop-up thunderstorms and showers. Some could be heavy.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Thanks for inviting me on to say hi to everyone. What are you looking at me for? You just
hold on. I'm getting the trophy for you thanking me for inviting you on.
Yeah.
You silly producer, you.
You know,
You're always allowed on.
I'm a career wise ass.
I know. I love it.
Anyway,
Watch
I'd
your
like
mouth.
to. Sorry about that. I learned that from you.
All right.
Okay. Naughty man. Bob Sullivan, thank you for the super chat. He says, thanks for all your great work, GSM.
Thank you very much, sir.
And then I want to shout out, because I don't believe I've shouted them out before. Be Friendly Permaculture. Very excited to catch us live. And they say peace, love, and mung beans from Southeast Australia. So hopefully you're getting some good weather out there. And there's various pronunciations of Popocatépetl.
Popocatépetl.
Some people say Catapetl, Popocatépetl. Some people say Popocatépetl.
Maybe we should just call it Popo.
Some people say Popocatépetl.
That's me.
You know,
that's my
is
pronunciation.
that how you
That's
say
probably
it?
mine.
Just say Popo.
I'll just say
Down at Popo,
Popocatépetl.
yo. We all know what you're talking
all right.
about. I'll keep everybody in check in the chat. So it's interesting being live on a Sunday. So I hope you guys all had a great weekend. We'll have our solar updates and a live show when?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
Yep.
And then we're going to have a live show on Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday night and then Friday night. And then, like I said, the daily updates should be coming Monday through Friday. So there's a lot happening, guys. It's no longer the point where we can just do 2 or 3 live shows a week and cover everything. We're probably underselling a lot of things because there's a lot to cover.
Grant wants you to try to say his last name. Grant's one of our mods. He participates quite a bit in our Facebook group. Also.
Farquhar. How about Farquhar?
I would say
How's that?
Farquhar.
Farquhar.
Jesus. Anyway, thanks for joining us all tonight. Really fun time in the chat with all you. There's a lot of new faces too, so
awesome.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us tonight. That's going to do it for this special edition of Grand Solar Minimum News Live. We hope to see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Grand Solar Minimum News update. Until then, folks, we'll talk soon.